Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12th Annual General Meeting for Volunteer MBC. We're so glad you could join us today. My name is Jim Wader, and I'm the President of the Board of Directors of Volunteer MBC. Before we get started, I wanted to run through a few technical considerations. Please begin by typing in your full name and organization in the chat box so that we can accurately include you in our AGM minutes. Thank you. This AGM meeting is being recorded and will be shared afterward. We have a lot of people joining us today, which is great. So we've muted all participant lines to reduce noise disruptions. If you experience any issues, you can email Marina at mcampos@volunteermbc.org or call our office at 905-238-2622. And those coordinates are on screen currently. So please look for that. Marina Campos, Volunteer MBC's Director of Operations, is our official AGM clerk today. I do have Nadia helping me identify quorum. We need 10 people present to reach quorum and start the meeting. Nadia, can you confirm that we have reached quorum, please?
Good morning. Yes, we have reached quorum with 13 members in our today present. Based on our bylaws, quorum is met.
Excellent. Thank you, Nadia.
You're welcome.
I'd now like to ask Robert McFarland, Volunteer MBC's consultant of referral services, to provide the land acknowledgement. Robert?
Thank you, Jim. We begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather, that we know as Peel and on which Volunteer MBC operates, is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples inhabited and cared for this land. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples, the land that is home to the Métis, and most recently, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. The team at Volunteer MBC is most grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and in doing so, we give our deepest respect to its first inhabitants.
Thank you very much, Robert. It's now my pleasure to call this meeting to order. You will see that we'll be using the chat box or phone for voting purposes. To make a motion or second a motion, please use the chat function on the right side of the screen and type "I move" or "I second" and include your full name and organization. Or if you're calling in, please unmute yourself, identify yourself, and speak. I will then ask you to vote in favor, oppose, or abstain, again using the chat box. Voting members include Volunteer MBC members who were active members between January 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2020, and who are currently members in good standing. Voting members also include the current board of directors for Volunteer MBC, in-house active volunteers, and honorary lifetime members. Voting members are eligible to vote on any motions and resolutions brought forward at today's AGM. Please note that there is only one vote per organization. We did send the audited financials and 2020 AGM minutes by email. Our proposed agenda today is approval of the 2020 AGM minutes, approval of the 2020 audited financials, approval of our 2021 auditors, election of our board of directors, some bylaw changes, presentation of our 2020 annual report, and a special presentation. Does anyone have anything to add to today's meeting agenda? Okay. May I please have a motion to approve the meeting agenda as it stands? Marina, do we have a motion?
I don't see one. If you want to make a motion, kindly unmute yourself and let us know your
I
name.
see a motion
So
there.
it's Lee. Lee has made the motion.
Thank you,
I
Lee.
second
Do I
it,
have a-
Tarunji.
Taranjeet has seconded the motion.
Terrific. I'd now like to call a vote. All in favor?
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstains? Excellent. The motion is carried. Thank you. I hope everyone's had a chance to review the 2020 AGM minutes that were distributed before our meeting today. May I please have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 AGM minutes?
Robert McFarland moves.
Thank you, Robert. And a seconder, please. Okay. I see a
Lee
second.
has seconded the motion.
Thank you. And now I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstains? Okay, excellent. The motion is carried. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Ting Guo, our board treasurer and chair of the finance committee. We are very grateful to rely on Ting's expertise as an auditor. Ting actually first volunteered with us as a newcomer when she was in high school. And once she became a CA, she came back to us, thankfully, in her current volunteer board role. Ting will present the auditor's report and the 2020 financial statements for Volunteer MBC and share highlights from our financial story. The financial statements were included or are included in our annual report and will be on our website following our AGM. Ting, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And thank you to everyone for the opportunity to present the 2020 financial statements as audited by Dang & Associates. Our auditors are also on the line today and will be able to address any questions concerning these statements. Welcome, guys, and thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to applaud and recognize the incredible efforts of Marina Campos, our Director of Operations, and Laurel Stoltz, our trusted accountant who has been helping Marina in maintaining our books since the inception of Volunteer MBC. Thank you so much. It is our vision here at Volunteer MBC to improve lives through volunteerism by fueling purposeful connections between people to respond to the most pressing social issues in our community. And certainly, we need to have strong financial results in order to meet and achieve that vision. Jump to the next couple slides, please. Wonderful, thank you. Now, 2020 was an unprecedented year, to say the least, and it's no secret that the ongoing pandemic presents a challenging operating and fundraising environment for our organization. And despite these inherent uncertainties and hurdles that come with navigating through such a challenging landscape, I'm happy to report that we achieved some great financial results. Over the course of 2020, we successfully applied for and obtained funding from a number of government, municipal, and community foundation programs to support our various strategic objectives and ongoing projects. You will see these receipts reflected in our significantly higher cash balance of $296,000 at the end of 2020. We'd like to note that there will be a large deferred carry forward balance of $267,000 of these received monies, which is in alignment with the specific grant and program deliverable requirements and relative timelines. During the year, we also received $40,000 under the Canada Emergency Business Account, or CEBA, which is a loan legislated by the federal government to help businesses pay their non-deferrable expenses during this challenging period. Next slide, please. So with respect to our successful grant applications, this year we received $331,000 of federal, provincial, and regional funding, which makes up 54% of the overall total. $68,000 of funding came from the cities of Mississauga, Brampton, and the town of Caledon, making up 11%. $98,000 of our funding comes from a number of foundations like the United Way and the Ontario Trillium Foundations, making up 16%. And $113,000 comes from our core programs, memberships, learning center, and fundraising to make up the remaining 19%. Now, overall, our organization's operating expenses are consistent with the prior year. Where we see more significant variances are in the program expenses and also the consulting fees. As a result of the ongoing pandemic, a number of programs were either put on hold or the deliverable timelines were pushed back, and this is correlated with the decrease in salaries and benefits and additional project management costs associated with the contract staffs we have usually on board to oversee these projects, and those costs and that reduction is shown in the $333,000 of program expenses. Now, at the end of 2020, our operations yielded almost $9,000 of revenues in excess of expenses. We made it through a challenging year and we're still standing. Now, unfortunately, what these positive financial results do not show are the underlying roadblocks and hurdles that some of many nonprofit organizations, including our own, that we've had to and still will need to overcome to continue operating within this ongoing pandemic environment and into recovery. So to illustrate this point, I'd like to point your attention to two areas of the statement of operations on the screen here: government assistance and also core funding. So during the year, we received $104,000 of government assistance in the form of wage subsidies, and this makes up 17% of the total revenues in the year. Our core funding, which includes donations, sponsorships, and fundraisers, decreased 41%, or $80,000 from the prior year. And this was caused by factors including declining donations and membership renewals, and the inability for us to host some signature funding events like the golf tournament. So to put this in perspective, our core funding made up 33% of our total revenues in 2019 in comparison to the 19% in the current year. So without the receipt of government assistance, this $80,000 gap in our core funding would be a difficult one to fill, and even into 2021. The demand for programming across the nonprofit sector is growing, and there's also uncertainty in the future concerning the extent and availability of individual donations and sponsorships and even government funding. But despite these challenges, we here at Volunteer MBC are optimistic that as we continue to innovate our programs and service offerings, that we will be able to navigate this recovery period better. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the 2020 financial statements as presented, please.
I move to approve. Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Can I have a seconder, please? Marina, can you confirm if we have a seconder, please?
No, not yet.
I move to second. It's Serena.
Thank you. Serena has seconded the motion.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Abstains? Wonderful. The motion is carried. Up next, I'd like to also ask for a motion to engage Dang and Associates as volunteer MBC's auditors and to hold office until the next annual meeting, provided that the directors may fill any casual vacancy in the office of the auditor and that the remuneration will be fixed by the board. Thank you, Lee. Taranjeet. A seconder, please.
Serena, I second the motion.
Wonderful. Now I'd like to call in a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Abstains? Wonderful. The motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Terrific. Thank you, Ting, for that presentation, and thank you to you and Marina for all the amazing work in a very challenging year, and to the entire team at Volunteer MBC for turning in such a balanced financial scorecard. Now we're very pleased to announce our proposed board of directors for the 2020-2021 year, which includes one new board member. You'll see the members up on our virtual screen. May I have a motion to accept the slate of nominees for the 2021-2022 Board of Directors as presented on screen?
I move. Taranjeet.
Taranjeet.
Thank
Moved.
you. And a seconder, please.
I second.
Thank you. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstains? Thank you. The motion is carried. Congratulations to our board of directors, and a big welcome to our newest board member, Radhika Sharma. Welcome, Radhika. Everyone may unmute yourself to applaud.
Thank you very much.
Really excited to have you, Radhika, join our team.
Like,
Now I would like to invite Corrine Strong, Executive Director of Volunteer MBC, to say a few words to recognize the efforts and contributions of Sandy Lewis.
Thank you, Jim. So this is really a bittersweet part, saying goodbye to our outgoing past president. Sandy applied to our referral system for the board role, and we're so glad that she did many years ago. Her guidance and support over the years in her roles of chair of the Fund Development Committee, president, and past president have really been instrumental to our success. Her HR and sales skills have helped us tremendously to move Volunteer MBC along. And I'm very grateful personally as well for the support during some of the difficult times. Sandy has completed her 6-year term with us, and we're really going to miss her. We hope we can continue to count on her for her fund development advice. Given her long-term tenure and dedication and commitment, we would like to make Sandy Lewis a lifetime honorary member. This honor was bestowed on only 4 individuals in the past. Our founding board president, Bonnie Yeager, Geraldine Aguiar, who followed in her footsteps, Jake Deere, and Arno Illich. Congratulations, Sandy. We have a saying at Volunteer MBC. We are like Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. You will forever be part of our Volunteer MBC family. Thank you, Sandy, for all your years of dedication. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you so much, Corinne. It's been an absolute honor.
You're very welcome, Sandy, and we truly are going to miss you so much. It's going to be very different without seeing you at the board table. You've become a signature, you know, and I don't think there was ever many meetings that you missed. So thank you so much for all the dedication.
You've inspired me to move on to do other volunteer work. So Corinne, you know, I've learned a lot from you, and I can't thank you enough. And hopefully I can carry some of my learnings on from you into other, you know, servant leadership roles from a volunteer perspective. So thank you very much.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And we also have a small token of appreciation waiting for you that recognizes the many, many hours that you have contributed to Volunteer MBC. Back over to you, Jim.
Thank you, Corinne. And thank you, Sandy, for your contributions and commitment. You will be missed. Thank you very much. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have 3 additions to Volunteer MBC's bylaws that the Board of Directors believe are necessary. On the screen, you will see items 3.21, 3.22, and 3.23. 3.21 relates to in-year board vacancies. 3.22 speaks to leave of absence request from the board director or board. And 3.23 confirms our position on confidentiality. May I have a motion to approve the changes to 7.11 and 7.13 in the bylaws? I see a motion. Thank you. A seconder?
I second it, Serena.
Thank you. I'd now like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstains? Okay, great. That motion is carried. Thank you. 2020, as we know, was a year like no other. We'll be sending our annual report to all of you following the meeting so that you can review it at your leisure. Here's a quick run through.
You always find a way higher ground. May you always keep your head held up high. Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough. Just the sight of you when I'm at my weakest point makes a world of difference, so you make me strong. Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough. Ordering a cup of love, feel it rising up and above. You will always keep my heart and soul strong. Plant your seeds and watch them grow. The light will always know where to go. You will always keep my heart and soul strong. You're the first thing in the morning and the last. Baby, you're my future and you are my past. Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough. Order in a cup of love, feel it rising up and above. You will always keep my heart and soul strong. Plant your seeds and watch them grow. The light will always know where to go. You will always keep my heart and soul strong.
Great, thank you. I'm suddenly feeling this urge to learn how to sail. I don't know why. May I have a motion to approve the 2020 annual report, please?
I move.
A motion, great. A seconder, please?
I
I
second.
second.
Thank you. I'd now like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great. Any opposed? Abstains? The motion is carried. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Corrine back to our virtual stage for a special presentation. Corrine?
Thank you so much, Jim. During the pandemic, it took a lot of creativity and encouragement to maintain an offering of diverse volunteer positions. However, many virtual, essential, and skilled positions emerged, and we have been adapting our systems to better support this. We were able to continue to refer volunteers to positions this way throughout the course of 2020. We also engaged more frontline volunteers to address gaps, and we partnered with organizations to support the community throughout the pandemic. Let's hear from one such volunteer.
Hi, my name is Ross. I'm a volunteer with Volunteers NBC, and I deliver food to people in need in the community. I like to be involved with the community, and I feel there's many people that need assistance for various reasons, and it really feels good to put a smile on their face when I arrive and get a sincere thank you from them, and it really makes me feel good and appreciated.
Thanks so much, Ross, and thank you for all that you do. As well, a huge thank you to Volunteer NBC's 162 in-house volunteers. Together, they gave over 8,000 hours of their valuable time, many of them in a virtual capacity, and quite a few, like our drivers, who worked tirelessly to make sure thousands of meals were delivered to the most vulnerable people in our community. You know how much we like to appreciate volunteers, and the volunteer and the virtual Voskers is the perfect example of that. Of course, our 2021 virtual Voskers is just around the corner on June 17th, so be sure to grab your free ticket at voskers.volunteerbc.org. And thank you so much to all our member organizations for the nominations that you put forward. The volunteers, the nominees will certainly feel really, really appreciated. But it wasn't just about the Voskers. We like to recognize volunteers year-round. It all accumulated in a big International Volunteer Day at the end of 2020, December 5th to be exact, where we lit up social media and the city lit up the night sky too. The pandemic has been a balancing act of frontline community engagement and backbone supports for organizations. And in the latter, our Learning Center stepped up to help as well. Volunteer BC, Volunteer Toronto, and Volunteer Markham collaborated to spearhead a GTA-wide effort to offer our expertise and support to social purpose organizations by way of our learning services, volunteer referrals, and our membership services. As part of the project deliverables, Volunteer BC developed an orientation to volunteerism. It's a free e-learning module for volunteers. And we also developed as part of this project 17 webinars for social purpose organizations that were focused on coping and managing the challenges of the pandemic. This was made possible thanks to the funding from the United Way of Greater Toronto. In 2020, Volunteer BC's Learning Center made remarkable strides in strengthening our sector relationships in both the national and in both the local and the national platforms. Our VETCH LMS development service had a successful year with a testament to the immense value an organized and structured learning and development effort adds to the social purpose sector. In 2020, we developed the learning management systems for Volunteer Toronto, the Nanny Angel Network, and we also host and support the learning management systems of the People and Information Network, which is the volunteer center of Guelph, Wellington, which was also developed by us in 2019. For 2021, Volunteer BC, Volunteer Canada engaged us to develop a learning portal to support the national learning and development for the sector, as well as to package 3 of their e-learning modules developed by the experts at Volunteer Canada. Of course, none of this is possible without our members. Our new membership model focuses on providing more support to organizations, but it's not just about what we do for the organizations, but about what each unique social purpose organization brings to the whole. Together, we can do much more. Let's get a perspective from some of our friends at our member organizations. Here's Ali from Polycultural.
Polycultural would like to congratulate you on marking the 12th year of your annual general meeting. Despite the challenges we are facing today, our integrated model with community partners has proven to be resilient and strong support system to our society. This is what drives this meeting by giving me the honor to speak and share some thoughts. Volunteer MBC's work with us has made a huge difference with our communities and clients on different avenues. The partnership between Polyculture and Volunteer MBC goes back years and continued in a collaborative theme from providing support in recruiting volunteers for our community events and contributing to the well-being of our newcomer clients. Volunteering has opened the door for many newcomers to feel they are part of their society through teaching, helping people with disabilities, food distribution, and travel buddies. I can truly say that volunteers with polyculture to feel the reward and how valuable their support is. On this occasion, I would like to take this moment and extend our appreciation to the great Mask Marvel volunteers who have supported polyculture with over than 400 masks that being helped by many vulnerable newcomers and clients at polyculture. Finally, if there is one thing that 2020 is teaching us, it is resilience. And with this, we aim to act together by ensuring that our societies are better served through strong community partnerships like the one we have. I thank you, Volunteer MPC, for what you do, and I congratulate you again on your anniversary. I hope to be with you in person at the nearest possible time. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you so much. With so many organizations connected and collaborating with us during the pandemic, Volunteer MBC became the factual logistics center, if you will. In this clip, I'm with Maduri, our Community Connections Coordinator, Don and Steve from Moyo, and today we share and they will share their reflection.
What we wanted to talk about is some of the accomplishments that we've seen in the last year. When you collaborate with an organization, when you come together with shared goals and shared values, and how it equals success. So as an organization, we serve folks who are HIV positive, people who are affected by substance use, as well as folks who are part of the 2S LGBTQ community, and other folks that are at risk. As an organization, when this pandemic started, we wanted to provide a way to reach folks because there's a lot of people who their basic needs were not being met. And we don't have enough staff, but together with Volunteer MBC, they've been able to provide volunteers who have been able to do some very essential work for our organization and for people. And some of the things that folks have said, you know, when they get the food, the delivery, whether it's a hot meal or groceries, they've said thank you because it means that now they're able to eat and they don't have to worry about feeding their kids. Steve?
That's exactly what I was going to say. We put a lot of work into putting together 25 boxes of food, and we work as a team, and we become a well-oiled machine. We can get this stuff done in no time, and it's because the volunteers at VMBC that we can get it done, because we don't have the volunteer base that they do. And it's incredibly rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but when you hear the comments like Don just said, you know, now I can feed my kids and pay my rent. Comments like that make it all worthwhile.
And we're just so thrilled that we've been able to help Moyo's clients and get them what they need, and especially essential needs like food and PPE equipment and all those things, right, Maduri? And Maduri has been a huge part of the coordination of all these efforts, and I think that you'll agree with me that we have some pretty special volunteer drivers that have been part of this right from the beginning.
Yes, I would like to thank all of our amazing volunteers. Without them, it's literally impossible to do what we have achieved so far. And it's been amazing. It's all their hard work, and on behalf of the entire volunteer BC team, I would like to give them a huge thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And thanks to Moyo for always being there and for being so giving and really responsible to make sure that their clients really need to meet all their basic needs, and what they're receiving is wonderful because of this incredible collaboration. So we're grateful for Moyo for their partnership, and to our drivers and all the volunteers that are helping to make this possible. Thank you so much.
I'd also like to thank the volunteer drivers. They're such a group of really nice people who are determined, and they want to get the job done, and they're here on time, and they're efficient, and they're just amazing people. As is Midori. I have to call out Midori. She keeps me going when I get tired and fed up with the day. She just goes, and she's just got a work ethic like I've never seen before. Thanks, Midori.
Thank you. And thank you to all the drivers for all that they've done. It's made a big difference in people's lives and allow people to live a life where they're not so afraid, you know. So thank you to all the volunteer drivers who have come out and done all that they've done. Thank you, we've appreciated it.
Thank you so much for that. It truly is a remarkable partnership, and we're very grateful for Moyo for being around, and they are in our building at Community Door. So it's a wonderful relationship. We always like to partner with organizations that have direct connections to vulnerable communities. We're working with Community Living Mississauga and the latest iteration of our Volvable project, which is designed to make volunteerism more accessible to people who have an intellectual disability. This collaborative work is made possible thanks to the Change Fund of the region of Peel. So a big thank you to all our member organizations. Thanks for generating meaningful positions, nominating volunteers for awards, engaging in learning and collaboration, and hanging in there during these most difficult times. Speaking of challenges,
Thank you very much for
Speaking of challenges, as we all know, sustainability is a very important factor for every organization. Volunteer MBC has been able to access emergency funding from the Government of Canada, United Way of Greater Toronto, and Community Foundations of Canada. And recently, we were awarded funding through the Ontario Trillium Foundation Resilient Community Funds. The Honourable Pramit Zakaria, MPP for Brampton South, was able to meet with us this week, and he offered a few remarks. Have a listen.
Thank you very much for having me here today, and it's you know, a great opportunity as I get to continue to learn about the incredible organizations that are out there in the community, serving so many different needs. And this is a great example. Your organization is a great example of that, and I'm happy that the Ontario Trillium Foundation through the Government of Ontario has been able to help. I know COVID's been a very difficult year, as you just mentioned, in terms of the revenues, how you've been impacted. Talking to many not-for-profits over the last couple of weeks, which with respect to donations, gala dinners, just holding events where so many sponsors would come out. So many community events that just couldn't happen this year. So we've seen a significant decline within that area of revenue generation, and it's it's important for us as we look towards opening programs like the Resilient Community Funds. I'm happy that organizations such as yours were able to benefit from that to a certain extent, and be able to use that as support to help you get through this very difficult time.
And OTF has funded some of our recent youth work to get them volunteering at a younger age, and our Boardwalk project, which is now under development. Boardwalk is a project to make our nonprofit boards in Peel more representative of our community. It will include online and experiential learning components for volunteers on boards, board readiness, and for organizations on inclusion, and an advanced volunteer matching component based on skills and the diversity component. We know this work is very important to our community. So we'd like to thank all of our funders for their crucial support for the work that we are able to do. I'd now like to talk a little bit about sustainership. At Volunteer NBC, we believe the spirit of volunteerism is powerful and that it needs to be nurtured by caring people, and we call them our sustainers. Therefore, we have introduced a new way for individuals and businesses to make an impact on the community and social purpose sector, to keep our membership fees low, and to still be able to offer the level of service excellence our members rely on, and make it possible for our programs and services to continue without interruption for the volunteers, the many volunteers that we refer, and all those who can benefit. We have introduced a special membership type that we call the sustainer. I would like to call on Rohit Mehta, if he has joined us, to speak briefly about why Do Good Fundraising chose to become a sustainer.
Thanks, Corinne. Hi, everyone. So I'm the president of Do Good Fundraising. It's a Brampton-based business which specializes in grants. And sustainership is about maximizing the impact on the community. As a business which works with many organizations in Peel and the surrounding areas, we felt that sustainership was truly a great way to support Volunteer NBC and the work they do, and for Do Good Fundraising to have a greater impact on the community and the social purpose sector in general. I truly believe that we can benefit from the promotion and exposure to local nonprofits, which are our target market, and we can show our support for Volunteer NBC and our continued relationship with the New Learning Center. We do see the sustainership program as a win-win for our business and the nonprofit sector. Team at Do Good Fundraising supports the work of Volunteer NBC, and we look forward to continued engagement with the center.
Thank you so much. And a big thanks to our inaugural sustainers, which are the Town of Caledon, Do Good Fundraising, and our own board president, Jim Wader. Thanks as well to our very generous supporters that have stood by us throughout this most difficult year. Thank you to our staff. Our staff and volunteers showed remarkable adaptability to pivoting to a hybrid business model. We're super grateful for their resilience under the most difficult times, incredible stress, dealing with the urgency in the community to meet basic needs, while also coping with the impact of the pandemic on their own families and lives. This was a period of long, hard work, and our team rose to the occasion like never before. I wanted to make a special mention. As you can see, many of our staff and our board members and volunteers have families in India, and they have had to deal with incredible tragedies over these last few months now. And I just wanted to extend our sincere condolences, and we're with you, and we appreciate that you continue to stay committed during these difficult times. The road ahead for you is not easy, but rest assured that we're right there with you to help you get through this. Thank you to our caring community. You are very special to us, and your giving and your way of giving your time and your donations and your support have never been greater than this past year. You've stepped up like no other time before in our history. And I'd like to hand it back over to Jim, but before I do, just in case people were wondering why we chose the theme that we did, Changing Tides, it actually stems from when we were dealing with the latter part and in earlier part of 2021, continuing to deal with the pressures of the pandemic in a hybrid office model. We're not able to see each other, but we do. We have been very fortunate to be operating in a virtual capacity. But we also felt it was really, really important to provide emotional support to the team. And we engaged a consultant that brought to us Positive Intelligence. It's a program that really helps to keep our staff motivated and on track. And we called ourselves in this program, we called ourselves the Vessels. And we were a big vessel that were sailing throughout the year and going right through the turbulent times. And we leaned on each other through this program to be able to really, get through this pandemic. And that was so important to us. So we're very, very grateful for this program. And we continue to, whenever we have a moment where we're not sure how we're going to fare, we always rely back onto that program, and it really has helped us through difficult times. So for the team, thank you so much for standing by us. We truly appreciate this. It has not been easy. It has not been easy for anyone out there, but we're here and we continue to sail, and we are going to be able to weather this storm. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Corinne, for that highly informative presentation, for your caring and inspiration. Thank you very much. And with that, we've reached the end of our annual general meeting. So I'm going to ask for a motion to close and adjourn our 2021 AGM. Can I get a motion, please?
I move, Tarunjit.
Tarunjit has made the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it. Susan.
Is that Susan?
Thank you, Susan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Abstains? The motion is carried. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate your attendance, your partnership, and ongoing collaboration. Have a wonderful balance of day. Please stay well, stay safe, and take good care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
And as we all sign up,